Hola!
Oh, look who's back. Yeah.
¿Cómo está?
Okay, yeah. She goes,
¿Cómo
yeah,
está?
right. She's been doing this for the last week. She goes to Mexico on a little vacation. She comes back thinking she's this international, I'm fluent in so many languages, and no, it's whatever.
Oh, we're doing the whole podcast in Spanish.
Yeah,
no, I'm just
right.
kidding.
Telemundo.
Yeah.
Flame Central Telemundo. I'm back. Thanks for suffering. Thanks for suffering through Matt and Joe last week. No, you guys did great. Wait a second. You said that I outkicked my coverage with Jason?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Listen, no, not
No,
really.
you're great. I mean, you're
Don't
great.
get me wrong.
You're fine.
We
You're
have
great.
no problem with you.
Have you ever had my lasagna?
We have no problem with you, but
right.
Jason's quite a guy, and I'm just gonna say it right now. It's reverse outkick of coverage, and I'm gonna stand by that story.
This is the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage. We have a lot to cover, including men's basketball, much needed win over New Mexico State after dropping that game in the final seconds against UTEP. We'll also have on three-point shooting queen Emma Hess from women's basketball. Great interview with her. And then I'm sure Joe has another story about wiping out up at Wintergreen. No?
Well, I went yesterday.
You are like
a
regular there.
I'm getting ready because
machine.
we're leaving on the 30th to go to Montana to see Gracie, and so we've got 2 days of nonstop skiing at Whitefish coming up. So that's why
incredible.
I got to get Reese. I'm really the reason. Reese is.
It's all about the kids.
It's all about the kids. It's always been about the kids. Reese is 11 years old, and he learned how to snowboard this year. So I'm trying to get him all prepped up. So when he goes out there, he's like having a good time, and he's getting good.
I mean, that
he's getting
snow
really
up
good.
there looks incredible.
I do have a good Whitefish story from a long time ago. Last time I was at Whitefish skiing, I was 8 years old. Right?
Okay.
And I was going
Usually we save this for the C block.
I was
okay.
going full tilt down the mountain, and some elderly lady was just casually strolling across, and I mean, wham! It was a yard sale. Both of us, everywhere. Unbelievable. Just took her out. Then I threw a snowball. We
In
went,
loving memory.
Right.
And then after
point
that,
out her little gravestone to Reese when you go by.
there's still a gravestone.
That
Oh
is
yeah, it's
so
so bad.
bad.
And then
You
after
can't
that
say that
happened,
stuff.
no, you can't say it. And then after it happened, but we did. After it happened, then we were trying to take, like, my parents were trying to take group picture with the Dawsons, the family we went with, and I threw a snowball at Mrs. Dawson and hit her right in the face. And then I had to go apologize to Miss
Well,
Dawson.
I hope you've changed a little since the last time you were there.
I've grown up a
little
less.
A little.
All right, let's shift gears to Liberty Athletics. Men's basketball and the Flames were on a 2-game homestand. Actually, they're about to go on the road for 3 straight.
Right.
But had a 2-game homestand. The first game, let's talk about that. UTEP, Matt Warner doing stats, so big-time game with CBS. 9 p.m. tip. I'm already asleep. I'm out.
Yeah.
Wake up at 4 a.m. to check the score. What the heck? We lost by 2.
Yeah.
Little bit of chaos at the end of that game.
Good ball game.
Good ball game.
Brett Decker hit a clutch
True freshman
3.
coming up clutch.
Right. I mean, I actually asked him before the New Mexico State game. I'm like, did that give you like a little bit more confidence, or do you just know that you could knock down a shot like that? And he goes, no, it gave me a little bit more confidence. I always have confidence, but big time shot for him. I think that can help him, moving forward. But the Flames were unable to pull it off.
They were. It was a wild game, and it was interesting. Liberty made 11 threes in that game, and I looked it up. I think it was the first time since 2019, I believe that's right, that Liberty had made 11 threes and lost. It had been 3 or 4 years at least. It was some game Darius McGee hit 8 threes against Kennesaw State, and Liberty ended up losing anyway. So Liberty, it felt like they did a lot of things well to have a chance to win that game. Free throw line wasn't great again. That's been a consistent theme throughout the season. And then you get that 3, you kind of lose track of what's going on momentarily for a second, let a guy get freed up on the wing, and Ahmad Bynum hits the jumper that ends up winning it for UTEP. Although Liberty got a pretty decent look there. They had 2 seconds inbound. Taylor Peter just one too many dribbles, tried to get to the rim, probably should have pulled up. It would have been tough anyway to try to get a bucket with that little bit of time left, but got a pretty decent look. You end up losing by 2 to UTEP. I just want to say, UTEP, there's no shame in losing to UTEP. If you said right now, put all your chips on who you think has the best chance of
Really?
winning the tournament in Huntsville, I would go with
Wow.
UTEP.
Really?
I really would. I think the style they play, the experience that they brought back, like the coach that they have, Joe Golding's really good. Like, that team is a really good team, and I think they're going to end up being one of the top couple of teams in this league when it's all said and done.
Wow, that's
so
interesting.
so that they are a really, really good team. So no shame in losing to them, but again, you felt like if you were Liberty, man, we're right there. It's 4 losses now this year by a total of 11 points.
Yeah.
So like you feel like you look at it 2 ways. You can look at it 2 ways, right? You look at like, man, nobody's really like putting us away. We're in every game. But then on the flip side, you say, but man, we could have won any one of those games.
Right.
And free throw shooting is a big part of it. Being able to close out those games, have the confidence to be able to go. If we have a lead when it gets late in the second half, we have the confidence to know if we have foul, we can go up there, knock them down, and close this thing out. That's been a struggle for Liberty in those losses. That's been a recurring theme in those losses. And so tough one. But boy, that made that New Mexico State game all the more important.
Right. And I mean, I think also, with these close contests down the stretch, it's not only at the very end of the game, it's like at the end of the first half too. Like, it's almost like that last minute or two.
And they talked about that, and I know Richie
focus.
talked to you about it at halftime of the New Mexico State game. Zach Cleveland talked about it before the New Mexico State game, that they feel like those last couple of minutes in the first half, last few minutes of the game, something about that, they're just not closing well. And they didn't against New Mexico State at the half, too, as Richie was ticked when he was talking to you.
Oh.
He was not
I don't know why I even asked the second question.
He never, I wouldn't say he ever enjoys the conversations that he has with you, but he definitely wasn't looking forward to it on Saturday night after the way New Mexico State hit a couple of big buckets right before
Which
that.
is the time that I should call out, 3 losses in the conference. You got New Mexico State. It's time to start calling for Richie McKay's job.
Oh, get out of here.
I mean, this.
You listen to all the most outlandish people on social media. Like, you listen to the people that have no common sense, and she gets all fired up.
If we don't win this New Mexico State game, we could.
And then Joe starts like, stoking. Here's the one thing I'll say on that.
While I'm typing,
can we close the case? I want to close this conversation just on this because she got fired up last year. I just want to say this: if anyone even lets that thought enter their mind, then you have to say literally every coach in this conference should be let go.
Right.
Yeah.
This conference, it's a street fight every night. Yeah. Like the parity in this league. Here's the thing about Conference USA. People are still not wrapping their minds around it. It's the 9th best conference in the nation.
They're talking about that on the
This
podcast.
isn't football. This isn't CUSA football.
But here's the other thing about it, and here's what stinks, is it's the 9th best conference, but it's not at the level yet where you can get multiple bids.
Right.
So you're a really good conference, right? You have a lot of really good teams that are all very comparable, but it still all comes down to 3 days in March.
Yeah.
So that you're in no man's land.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part, and that's the reality of it, of Conference USA. It is a grind. It is a fight every single night. There are no gimmies. There are no gimmies in this league. We talk about getting the young guys minutes. It's hard to do because there are no teams that you're like, well, when you're in the A-Sun, Liberty's average margin of victory one year was like 20 points.
Yeah.
Like, there are no games like that. UTEP turned around and went to FIU, the worst team in this league, and they had to fight and scrap and claw to squeak one out down there. It was a tight game throughout. That's the worst team in the league. So it is a grind, and then you also know that you just got to win the tournament. Like, there's nothing else besides that.
Yeah, come tournament time, it could be any team taking the title. So.
And here's the thing. When you watch that UTEP game, to me, it was a couple things. One, the ability to eliminate easy buckets around the basket, right? You were talking, the margin of error here is so tight. Yeah. So where can you pick up, right? We gave up too many easy buckets around the basket. And then you have to understand that, and they obviously understand this, but when you start playing the top tier teams with the top tier shooters on them, right? When it gets down near the end of the game, and I can't remember the name of the kid from UTEP that hit the three.
Bynum,
he hit three. He was hitting shots, right? So you have to expect that the best players are going to hit the biggest shots in the biggest moments, okay? And it's really about eliminating space and keeping those shots as highly contested as possible. Like, you understand, like, dude, this is guy's gonna get the ball. He's on fire. We have to do whatever it is. Get your hand through his eyes. Get your hand, cut down as much space to eliminate.
Well, there was a little miscommunication because Colin had to come down.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's the stuff that you have to clean up.
All those little
and
things.
all those little things, because when these dudes get a little bit of space, and
they're gonna hit that
the
shot.
margin of error is so tight that you have to figure out a way to make sure that you do that. The other thing that I noticed too is I know Zach Cleveland on the offensive side in a half court set is more of a passing, forward. Okay. Yeah. And so he's not taking a lot of those mid-range jump shots and whatnot. But I'll tell you what, where he did look good is when he's in transition. Yeah. When you get him the ball with a head of steam going, like, he's either getting fouled. I know he struggles from the free throw line, which he's got to pick up, or he's finishing. And so when you see him, on the hoof getting in transition, like, dude, that's something. You get the ball to him and let him go.
That is a thing about this team.
Is that what you're saying?
Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly.
Talon Peter is really good end to end. You've got some guys that when the opportunity is there to get out and run, can definitely do it. The flip side of that is, with as thin as you feel like this group is, can you do that all the time?
Yeah.
You can't really, you know what I mean? Not that you want to.
You're saying that, like, you'll wear yourself down.
Right, and Liberty is still like, their shooting percentage and stuff, like, that's not a problem. They're efficient on the offensive end. You don't feel like they got to steal some buckets in transition because their half court sets aren't working. No, that's not the case. They're doing fine on that end. It's just some of those little things. And again, when you're losing by 2, you're losing by 3 or whatever, all these tight games, it's not. You can't always just say, well, you got to shoot better. No, it's just one rebound here. It's a couple free throws here. That's all it is. It's just those little things that you've got to clean up, and you do that, and it looks a lot different.
And my point is that I think they can steal a few more buckets in transition. Like, if you have that mindset of like, hey, we're gonna get out, we're gonna go, right? Because I think when they're the way they are is like, man, they're good in the half court. They're good at creating shots. They're good in their sets. They're good in doing all those different things. But there are a few more opportunities throughout the course of a game where, like, if we were to push a little bit more, we have the guys that can finish in transition.
McKay has said that about Talon Peter, which I don't know if you guys mentioned that Talon Peter, that 33-point performance off the bench against La Tech was the most from any Liberty player off the bench in Liberty history. They actually went back and dug back in,
did a little more. We thought it was the most since Jim Pierce or whatever. They actually went back and went through that box score again and said, actually, he started. It was kind of a screwed up box score.
Jimmy Pierce.
So it's the most ever for a bench player, 33.
That's wild.
Talon Peter followed that up with 20 against UTEP, and he was the first guy since, who was it? I can't remember. I had my notes. But first guy like 20 years ago, 2020, back-to-back games off the bench. So, like he's been fantastic.
He's been awesome.
Let's go to the New Mexico State game, though.
Yeah, so let's transition to New Mexico State. Richie's on the hot seat. We got to win this game. A couple things.
I love the picture of the dude, and I think it's like fire all around. The guy's in a chair, just sitting there while the fire's burning all around.
I
find that entertaining.
I thought when you were stirring the pot, and you're like, Emily's coming back, recharged.
Joe's stirring things up on social media.
And laughing
try to pull us into it.
Laughing the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've already been canceled. So I come back, and I'm like, man, a dose of vitamin D and common sense. I'm going to be coming in hot.
Yeah,
some of the things that stuck, numbers and stats that stuck out to me the most against that New Mexico State game, they were able to win this game with only 3 threes.
That's the
like
number.
That, 42 points in the paint. They were really driving to the basket. That just showing that you can win and not rely on that 3 ball was huge for me. 2, you were able to do that without Kane Matheny, which usually he is the one, hitting those threes. But Talon Peter, again, great off the bench. But not only him, there was that dog. And Xander Yates.
I'm glad you mentioned this.
Like, Xander Yates just, I don't know. It just felt like a different guy out there on the floor, just making those little things that don't necessarily show up, or doing those little things that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet that you could tell fired up the team.
Here's what I like. I have here in my notes, all I have is feisty Xander Yates.
Yep.
That's what I like. Xander Yates, nice guy, great kid. Very, even keel when you talk to him. Mm-hmm. He comes in, he hits a couple of threes. He took one, and he went up and tried to throw it down on top of the New Mexico State big man.
Was like,
Naz and I were like, what?
I didn't know that was in
Xander?
here.
Like, what? Then on the defensive end, There's a pass inside. The big man turns. Xander, they called him for a foul. I thought it maybe could have been a tie-up. Hand on the ball, and it's like doing the old, like, the whistle blows, and it's like, no,
Oh, no.
I'm not letting go.
Yeah.
He stirred things up a little bit. Listen, when you're coming off the bench and you're a guy like Xander who you don't know night to night, am I going to get 2 minutes? Am I going to get 8 minutes? Like, you don't know what your role's going to be. You got to bring a little something like that. That's something the team needs, I think.
And that's how you get more minutes.
That's how you get more minutes.
Right.
You show some toughness. You mix it up. Like, think about those guys. You know, in hockey, you always say you got, like, your goons or whatever. Those guys that they're just out there to kind of stir things up a little bit, be physical.
Are you calling Xander Yates a goon?
I'm not calling him a goon, but, like, listen. Come off the bench, throw your body around a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, that's something Gabriel McKay does. You know, we know he's not, the great offensive player, but that guy takes like a charge a game, it feels like, throws his body around. Like, I love seeing that from Xander. It gave that team a spark. Not only that, he knocked down some shots as well, which we know he can do. He got some open looks. He knocked them down. So, no, I thought he was a real big spark in that game. And then quickly, going back to what you said, 3 of 14 from three-point land. That is the first time since 20 – this is a number that matters.
Numbers that matter.
Thank you. This is the first time since 2019 the Flames have made only 3 threes in one. That one came against North Florida. Scotty James, your leading scorer in that game.
Scotty James.
Yeah, Scotty James.
We'll get to this conversation with Emma Hess in just a moment. But I just think that it gives maybe Flames Nation and some people a little rest with the whole Coach McKay coaching
just
search. But also just, I love that they found a way to win this game other than relying on it.
If you had told me,
I
if you had told Richie you're going to make 3 threes in this
still
game,
win?
how you feeling? He'd have been like, oh, no. That's
60 points.
You know?
You're up 60.
You find a way. And
points.
that was the only unbeaten team in the conference that just came in here, and you handled it. That was a team that had stomped UTEP at UTEP just a couple of games previous.
It's what you said about how good the conference is from top to bottom, right? And the bottom line, and after all this stuff, is it's the devil's hashtag bottom line is the devil's in the details.
Right.
Like, that's what this is going to come down to. This is going to come down to the details offensively, the details defensively. When you can get the stop, whether that's the last minute of a half, whether that's the last, you start looking a lot of coaches over the last 4 minutes of the game. Like, what happens? What are your percentages at that point? Like all those little tiny details, and then free throws, obviously. Like, you get into the details. Like, when you get I always like to say when I coach, like, what's your margin of error going into a game, right? So sometimes you have a high margin of error. You can get away with some stuff and still win the game. Yeah. But when the teams get better and better and better, and that margin of error shrinks down to minimal, then it's like, okay, now we're in the soup. Now we're into the details of what is it going to take to win a conference championship. And that's the bottom line on how, Richie's got to coach his team and how the players need to respond to him while him and his assistants coach the team.
And it's going to, you got your next 3 games on the road. So this is the big
stretch.
Why
you needed
and that's why that game against New Mexico State, if you had lost that and all of a sudden, you're sitting there at what would have been 2-4. It would have been 2-4 in conference play, having lost 3 home games. Yeah. You're in a world of hurt. Big win. Now you go at FIU. They're 1-5, right? You got it. I know you lost there last year.
Yes, so what you said, FIU still.
But they're absolutely. They're no pushover, but you got to get it. Then you go at Kennesaw State, at Jack State. So these are some games that I feel like you can get. Like, this Liberty team can get.
Even 2 or 3.
Yeah, if you come away with 2 out of 3 of those, you're feeling really good coming back home.
Can you explain just the standing situation and the play-in situation for the conference tournament?
So, yes, and this is something that we've been saying with there being so much parity. It's like, yes, would you love to win a regular season title? Absolutely, who wouldn't? The main thing is you got to be inside the top 6, I feel like, because the bottom 4 teams play in the first round in Huntsville at the tournament. So that's essentially kind of a play-in, right? And then you go from there. So that's Tuesday. Then Wednesday, 1 and 2 seed play the winners of those first 2 games. If you're, 3 through 6, you don't play again till Thursday. So all that to say, you want to be inside that top 6. If you're one of the top 2, you play Wednesday. If you win, you get a day off Thursday. Then you're playing Friday in the semis. So a top 2 seed is ideal. But the main thing is be inside that top 6, avoid that play-in round, and that's the main thing.
It's a crazy conference.
Because, you
It's
know,
really
neutral
fun.
site, like that,
There's no
anything can happen.
advantage, yeah.
These games, you see how tight they are already.
Yeah.
You go to a neutral site, 1 through 6, who really cares?
And
it's more about just kind of who you get matched up
That's
against.
right.
And I say it all the time, there are lessons in losing. So hopefully the Flames are learning
does say that
those lessons
all the time.
now from those
All
tight
the
ball
time.
games. So when you're in those tight ball game
Yeah.
situations in the tournament,
Yeah.
that's when it matters. That being said, if you still think Coach McKay should be on
Oh,
the hot
boy.
seat, you can send the coaching resume of your choice to Flamecentral at liberty.edu.
Yeah, right. So we can throw them straight in the trash.
And if you think
It's just so stupid.
and if you think you should be on the hot seat, and at the same time you're still looking to purchase a home, you can go to Alcova.
If a new coach comes in,
Yeah.
No. We're just looking.
So
If he's on, you can go to alcova.com/liberty, and you get up to a $5,000 credit towards your closing costs. And you can complain about the coaches all you want. I will be here to listen. Just buy the house, okay?
All right, but for now, we're going to go to this conversation with Emma Hess. We are bringing back a very special guest to the
That's
show, Emma Hess. She's done some work since the last time she came on the Flame Central podcast.
I'm just thankful.
Now-
We don't have a lot of people that are willing to come back on. So the fact
Yeah, it's
that you
usually like a
did-
one-hit
I don't know
wonder.
if you knew you had a choice. Maybe that's it. Nobody told you had a choice, but thank you for being here. You know?
I just love we have another woman on the show because it's a lot with these two guys. So
You have
thank you.
somebody to defend yourself.
Yes.
I'm here to even it out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Emma Hess recently scored at her 1,000th career point. Gosh, can I
1,000
talk today?
points, yeah.
1,000 points.
Oh, good. Joe's already. He's feeding her information.
Can we like turn that volume up on his mic to make sure?
Go ahead.
that-
Keep going. I'm sorry. Emily, keep going.
1,000 career points. I have a feeling you knew, right? When you made that three.
Yeah, I did know. I was trying not to look, but before the MTSU game, I saw that I was 41 points away, and then from then I was just like, I was keeping track because it's hard not to after that.
Oh, you
She's
kept
like,
track from
yeah,
41?
She's like subtracting like a layup, minus 39.
Now, how does that get in your mind? Like during the game, is it like I'm at 41, now I'm keeping track, and then when you hit the shot, or in your mind, when you're backpedaling down the court, when you're hitting that backpedal down the court with a little swagger, you're like, I'm at 39, I'm at 37. Is that were you doing that in your mind or no?
Yeah, that's a great question, but
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Yeah.
What a great question.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing it when I was at MTSU, but kind of. I think it was the LA Tech game at home. I think I was like 17 away or something.
And
Kind
you
of from
started
then I
counting
was
down in
counting
your
down.
mind,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
The 22nd person in Liberty women's basketball history. So congratulations on that milestone. Also, congratulations. The Lady Flames are in sole possession of first place in
Bam.
CUSA. A half a game up on Middle Tennessee. How does it feel? Are you guys looking at the standings? Do you pay much attention to that at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great, but pretty much right after we beat New Mexico, like we hadn't even made it back into the locker room yet, and somebody was already like, Western Kentucky beat MTSU, so like we're in first place. So like we do keep track of those things because it's good to see, like, I'm sure we'll watch the film on that game to see how we can beat MTSU like they did.
Right. 'Cause nobody has in like the past 2 years. So yeah, that was kind of a stunning result there. For you guys this year, I know you brought back a lot from last year, but every year it's different. Every year there's a few pieces that are different. How do you feel like this year's team is different than a season ago?
I just think we have more talent. Like the freshmen last year have developed into good sophomores, and then the freshmen coming in have been playing really well. So, you know, bringing all that talent in, and then like we just like bond really well as a team. So just like, you know, being close like that off the court, I think helps us on the court.
Do you feel as if, since you've been here 4 years, right? So 4 years, you've seen all the teams so far. Is this the best Liberty Flames Lady Flames basketball team that you've played on in your 4 years?
I think it might be.
Really?
I think we have the most potential to like do something in March too.
Would you say this team has the most depth that you've played on?
I don't think the most depth, honestly. I think it was my freshman year we probably had the most depth because I mean I was coming off the bench playing 10 or 12 minutes a game, but we had like 10 solid players coming off the bench. This year I think we have nine or 10, but you know, it's pretty close. It's close.
What did you guys do in the off season to like bond and create so much chemistry with this team? Did Coach Green take you guys on like a hunting or fishing trip or something?
He would do it. He would do it.
He does take us on fishing trips, which is fun, but we just hang out and we enjoy each other's company. Like I live in a house off campus, and so you know, we have girls over to our place there. I mean, we just do stuff together. Which
You guys
is just
doing
fun.
game night or like cooking up some bomb meals or what's
Yeah,
going on at the Hess household?
We've had a couple dinners at our plate.
Yeah.
I don't cook. Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's normally like Bella and Emily or Bella and Jordan. So, but yeah, we've had dinners. We've done some game days or game nights. So it's been fun.
All right, so Kerry Green is known for one thing. Well, he's known for a few things.
I was about to say, I
But
can
in
think
terms
of a couple.
of what he likes on the court, he's known for having teams that rebound the basketball.
Yeah.
He's known for having great bigs, right? That's kind of what you think of when you think of Kerry Green. Like, I looked and I like double checked it, and maybe I should have triple checked it because I still don't know if I believe it. You guys have the 8th best 3-point percentage in the country.
Yeah.
Like, where did this come from? Is this you? Was
Is
this
this Emma Hess?
you
It's
when you
definitely
got
not me
when
this
you
year.
got here? Was this when like they were like, wait, you know what? This 3-point thing could work. Like, did you change the whole outlook for Liberty women's basketball?
I feel like I can't take all the credit for that, but we've just brought in a lot of good shooters over these last couple of years, and it's been really fun because you know, having other people that can shoot, it helps space the floor for you. So.
Wait, didn't we say that last time Emma was on that she needed to do a 3-point shooting contest with Darius? So now I feel like we need
know
to do
it's Caden Matheny.
Caden Matheny.
And we brought it up to him later, and he was like,
He didn't want none.
Yeah.
he said,
He told me about
he
that.
said,
told
he was
me
like,
about that.
I watch her shoot sometimes when I'm working out, and I don't know. Like,
We should do it.
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
we
be
should
fun.
do it.
I feel like it would be close. I don't know.
That would
I
be
feel
fun. Who else? You talk about some of the other shooters. Who else has kind of taken that next step? Because you've been for your whole career. Like, we knew. I remember back your freshman year, Rhett McGibbon being like, "This girl is gonna be one of the greatest shooters in Liberty women's basketball history." Who else do you feel like has kind of helped ease the pressure on you in terms of 3-point shooting?
This year, definitely Asia. Last year and this year, she's been shooting really well. Avery, I mean, freshman, as you guys have seen, she can shoot the ball really well. I think Brooke took a huge leap from last year into this year. She's shooting the ball a lot better, so that's been helping us out.
I feel like for the men's side, it is so difficult to win on the road. You look at the road versus home schedule, and then Lady Flames go on the road.
No
and you're
big
just
deal.
like, no big deal, no big deal. Just took 2 from UTEP and New Mexico State. What is the environment like and the biggest difference in playing on the road when you have that stadium or that arena all against you, you know, trying to pick up that road victory?
Yeah, I think it is playing on the road. I feel like there's a lot less fans. I feel like we bring in more fans at home, and then we go on the road and it's these big arenas with not a lot of fans. So like you have to bring your own energy, and then just the travel part. Like traveling is so tiring. Like flying commercial versus charter, and just like those in between days, trying to find ways to get up and like move so like you're not too tired for like the Saturday game. It's hard. It's hard.
So I started off the new year with my New Year's resolution as like running a mile a day. I've already stopped. I got very sick. But
You see, there you go.
All my excuses.
You know, like
She's
there's
using
some-
all my
She's using all
excuses.
Joe's
There's
They've
some-
all been used already.
There's some stat that like you like lose your.
It's like called like
it's like
Quitter's
January
Friday.
8th. Yeah.
Is what it's called.
But when I was on my way, I just took a quick vacation. I ran a mile in the Atlanta airport. So I don't know if you guys, you talked about getting up and moving around.
Do you do anything
between-
like that in the airports?
So she's like, heck no. But I did run a mile in the Atlanta airport. So I was dedicated going
like
to Mexico.
8 days.
But then when I got to Mexico, that squashed pretty quickly. But if you need some, travel tips and like staying loose,
What do you got? Yeah, what do you guys do to pass the time?
I mean, don't tell our strength coach that, or else he might have us up and moving in there.
That's my idea. Yeah.
Thankfully, we didn't have too long of layovers in the airport, but I think it's really the day in between that gets us. Like, we get up and we lift before we, like, get on the road. And then when we get there, we practice. And in the hotels, we do, like, a lot of stretching and, like, just movement stuff and, like, stuff like that.
Okay, so in your downtime, I'm just somebody did a little traveling in his career, right? In your downtime, instead of everybody sitting around scrolling on their phones, doing their posts and everything, I'm gonna throw something out to you, Emma.
Oh gosh.
And see if you can lead the team. It's gonna take some time to figure it out, but once you figure it out, it'll be a great bonding time for you. Cribbage. Get a cribbage board. Go buy a cribbage board. And get the girls around and learn how to play cribbage.
Cribbage came out in 1944.
Yeah, and yes, it
No idea
did.
what that
And it's a fantastic game, and it's a great game to play on the airplane. It's a great game to play around the locker room. It's a great bonding time,
Look at
and
Emma's
it is a
face.
lot of fun. Cribbage.
Joe, you always said your
I
teams
could see her writing that down.
Cribbage.
How do you spell that?
You always said your teams played Twister.
No.
That's what you said. You teams played Twister in the hotel.
I had a comment on the tip of my tongue that I'm not going to go with. Yeah,
Keep
no,
it the
I'm
lyrics.
not going to go
Okay,
there.
all
Cribbage,
right.
yes.
Cribbage.
Learn how to play cribbage.
Okay.
Okay,
Emma,
You'll
at,
thank me later.
I'll keep that in mind.
at this point in the season, I mean, if like March will be here before we know
Right.
it. What do you think is the biggest necessity for this team in order to close it out down the stretch?
I think we just have to keep playing the way that we've been playing and then improving on the areas that we know that we can improve on so that we're playing our best basketball when it comes to like end of February, beginning of March.
What are some of those improvements that you think this team could sharpen?
I mean, Coach Green will love that I say this, but rebounding. We got out-rebounded at UTEP by, I think, 4, and we still won that game somehow. But we out-rebounded New Mexico by 15, which was good. And then turnovers also, I think it was the New Mexico State game. We had like maybe 5 or 8 at halftime or something like that, and then we ended with like 20-something turnovers. So we just have to take care of the ball and rebound.
But still winning, with those stats, find a way.
You're in the championship game, in the tournament. Middle Tennessee State is your nemesis. What are we going to do in order to beat them and get the monkey off the back? Come on.
We just got to take it more personal. I think we have
A
all
little bit
the
more personal,
we
like
have
that.
we have the talent, we have the game plan, we have everything that we need to beat them. We just have to like be like, we're gonna beat them. It's it's up to us at this point.
You got to get that dog in you.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. That dog,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
when
see,
I was
that's a
kid.
good answer. It wasn't like, well, we can rebound a little bit better.
no,
we
take
gotta,
it personal.
get
Yeah,
more
right.
You got to take it
personal,
personal. You got to find an enemy on Middle Tennessee State. No,
You
don't
got to
do
make
that.
it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh, you got
That's
one?
that
I'm
done.
not gonna speak about
Yeah. I want to. Great team. We talk about how the success you guys have had. Your Saturday, your game against FIU, they're honoring the Sweet 16 Liberty women's basketball team, which your assistant coach, Katie Matera, on that team. Did she ever talk about that experience? Because that was like the pinnacle of Liberty women's basketball.
Surprisingly, she talks about it very rarely. She's talked about it a couple of times. She's brought her ring in a couple of times, but she doesn't really talk about her playing days much.
Yeah.
Liberty or WNBA. So you have to really ask her about it and bring it out of her.
I feel like Joe Yock would take that approach too.
Yeah.
So we would never hear the end of it.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
not.
right, yeah,
That was
yeah,
complete sarcasm.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, where's Katie Feenstra at now?
She's assistant coach on the basketball
She's
team.
on the basketball
Yeah,
team, and then
she's
she
been
but
assistant
she had a sister too, right? Who was that had the twins?
You're thinking of the Frazee.
Oh,
Frazie's.
triplets.
That's who I'm
Triplets,
thinking.
yeah.
The Frazee triplets.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
that was
I was
different.
confused.
Yeah,
there.
Also a
I
great
said
player.
before we started rolling,
Also
Joe
a
does
great
his.
player. Yeah.
his
Wait, so
research
Katie
during the-
Feenstra was on the Sweet 16.
Yeah, she was.
And
yeah.
so you have 2 assistant coaches that were on the Sweet 16 team?
Just the one, just Katie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
kidding,
just
married now.
Yeah.
Emma, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah.
It was great to have you on, and hopefully we'll get that
Cribbage. I guess that's the one to
Cribbage.
take away.
Cribbage is the
if you're
takeaway.
looking for a big takeaway from
mile,
this.
on those long layovers
Yeah.
at the airport. And then we'll get that shooting, 3-point shooting contest set up with you and Caden Matheny hopefully soon, because I think that would be some great
one last
content.
thing though. You get 3 straight home games coming up here.
Thank goodness.
So you get two full weeks for you guys at home. So hopefully folks get out there, pack the house, starting this Saturday against FIU. And I guess the last thing for me is like you get 2 whole weeks here, which is a rarity. What are you most looking forward to about having 2 weeks without having to hit the road?
Sleeping in my bed.
Okay, there you go. There you go. All right, well, that's pretty easy. Yeah.
And you're doing a piece on Emma, right?
Yes, I'll be getting in contact with you while you're home for this stretch.
Yes.
So
Yes,
yes,
yes.
we
So
will be.
be on the lookout for that on
Yes.
Flame Central.
I have some. I don't want to build up too much. I have some elite pictures of little Emma
Little Emma.
starting out her basketball career.
How
So,
old were you when you started playing basketball?
I don't even remember. I think it was probably kindergarten when I started like upward
yeah.
basketball, somewhere around there. So
Yeah, some great
Yeah.
pictures. And then I dug up some really good footage of you in high school.
Oh,
Just dominant.
Oh,
like
no.
I can hear. There's no audio, but in my mind, I can hear parents on the other team being like, "Hey, I want to see that birth certificate." Or like, "Oh, she shouldn't be playing against us. She should be playing at high." Like I can hear it. I can't hear it, but I know it's happening. She was just owning people.
Remind me of your recruiting story to Liberty.
I came to camp here, summer camp, basketball camp. I think it was after my sophomore year or before my sophomore year. I came to camp and then I emailed Coach Green And I don't think he answered me the first time, but then I came back to camp again, and then we started like conversing a little bit there.
Kind of similar to Bella's
That is
story.
funny because Bella she said she was just blowing up his email trying to get she's like
Yeah.
6'5", Bella Smuda 6'5", like in the subject line. And so that's interesting. So what was it you wanted to come here before Liberty even knew about you? Like what was it? Is that kind of how it worked?
Kind of a little bit. When I came to camp, I was kind of like, yeah, I think this is where I might want to go. But it took a year or two of me coming to camp, dominating camp, obviously, for him to.
Obviously.
Ev Warner, also his
right.
daughter, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen her dominate the camp as well.
No, you work with the older
I work
kids?
with, high school,
she's
middle
working with the
school.
older
Oh,
kids.
okay.
Yeah, it's Bella
Bella,
and it's
Jordan
that work
Caroline.
with the younger ones.
That's
Yeah, they're
awesome.
great. Yeah.
Who's your bestie on the team? Well, not bestie. We don't want to like leave anyone out,
Don't
but
alienate
who's your?
You
Who
didn't
are
say
you
I
hanging
was
with?
your
Yeah.
bestie.
Yeah.
Definitely my roommates. So Bella, Peen, Emily, and then one of our managers, Sophie.
Oh my
5
gosh,
of us
you
live in a
guys probably
house
have
You have
together.
5 people in the house?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh my
The
goodness.
crib.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
crib.
Yep.
How well
Crib.
maintained is the house?
Oh, it's great. I mean,
it?
we're
Okay.
girls. We
Yeah.
we keep things clean and neat.
Is there
so.
somebody who's not very clean and neat?
Okay,
Like
we're not going through
Who
that.
is it? Who,
This
why don't you
isn't-
throw
this
somebody
is-
under the bus right now?
No.
No, we're all pretty clean.
Yeah.
Do the dishes, Bella.
Yeah,
No, I'm
Bella
kidding,
does.
I'm kidding.
Who doesn't do the dishes?
Stop.
Bella. It's
Emma,
Bella.
thanks so much again. Excited to watch you guys down the stretch, and best of luck in March.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Just want to give a shout out, Joe. You were correct about Katie's sister.
But
So-
it was a maiden name thing.
Yeah, it's a
It
maiden
was a
name.
name
yeah.
thing, but then she also did have a
Yes.
sister that played
Yeah.
here at the same time. So I'm sorry that we gave you such a hard time about that. That's another one of my
Don't
new.
you mess with me on my lady flame.
Yeah.
Because I am the brother-in-law
I know,
of
I know.
Jeannie Stinnett, 5 3-pointers in the Big South Championship to send the Lady Flames to their first NCAA tournament. Good job, Jeannie.
Really hope that Emma Hess can lead these Lady Flames to a successful season and finally take down Middle Tennessee. I'm not going to share, what she told us off the air about who she's.
That's nice
Yeah,
of you.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. So, one more quick thing about Taylon Peter. We were talking about him and his impact off the bench for men's basketball. Great feature on him coming up on the Flame Central show this week. So be sure to check that out again. We're not having a lot of content coming in if you want to be a part of the show. So flamecentral@liberty.edu if you have any thoughts, concerns for the mailbag. We'd love to have you as a part of the show. National championship game, Notre Dame, Ohio State tonight. Who do you guys have?
Ooh.
Who do you guys have?
I mean, as crazy as this sounds, you want to go first, Matt, or you want me to go first?
I mean, I'll say I'm rooting for Notre Dame.
I think the entire country is
And
rooting for
I
Notre
never
Dame.
thought I would say that in my life.
It's all because of Marcus Freeman.
And he's great. How
That's
great
why,
is he?
That's why you're in for
and,
that.
and
That's why you're in for
Ohio State. I just can't take them. And they're fans. Can't deal with them. Can't deal.
One of the best.
This is coming from a Kansas City Chief.
America's team.
One of the best
Yeah,
tweets.
right.
One of the best tweets I've seen was it was a video, and it was like the long shot of a bunch of elderly women, and they're at a thing playing in Vegas.
Yeah.
And they're all hitting the little thing, the slot machine thing there, blah, 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 and all of them are doing the exact same things. Like 20 of them lined up, going as fast as they can. And somebody said, Ohio State fans trying to delete their Fire Ryan Day tweets.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly right.
I will show you
I really like Marcus Freeman. I don't like Notre Dame, but I like Marcus Freeman a lot.
Yeah.
But I think Ohio State's going to win the football.
I do too. I think they're the better team. But
we
another reason to
Don't
root
be
for
surprised
Notre
if
Dame.
Notre Dame wins.
Yeah, another reason to root
Don't
for
be
Notre
surprised.
Dame. Former Liberty All-American legend Mike Brown,
Yeah, we'll root for
quarterback
Notre Dame.
receiver, is the receivers coach at Notre Dame. And if you watch, he's like always right there next to Marcus Freeman. Like you see how so many shots, him right there. This guy, you talk about a resume.
He's a great
Like-
player.
have we done a feature on him?
We did years ago when he was
Okay.
playing with the Jaguars, I think.
Okay.
But he got going at Michigan under Harbaugh for a little bit. Then he ended up coming here to Liberty under Turner Gill. And when Gill left and Freeze came in, you'll remember he was the last coach that was here. Like Freeze brought in his whole staff. Mike Brown was still here late in the process.
Yeah.
And then Freeze ended up letting him go, bringing in somebody else. That may have been the best thing that ever could have happened to Mike Brown's career, if I'm being honest. Because he goes to Cincinnati. He was a wide receivers coach. Then he was the pass game coordinator. there when they had their undefeated season. Then he went with, I think, what's that, Luke Fickell, right? Who left there and went to Wisconsin. So Mike Brown went to Wisconsin. He was a wide receivers coach and associate head coach of the Badgers. Then he goes and joins Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. So this guy is putting together quite a resume, really highly thought of in the industry, and was a great guy. In fact, he was at Liberty's bowl game in Arizona. He showed up last year for that game. Still loves the Flames, obviously, and was a great player here. So, you know, another reason to root for Notre Dame tonight besides just the obnoxious Ohio State fan base. We'll root for
root for
the
former Flame and just make it. I know it's weird rooting for Notre Dame, but you got to do it. Feels good to be back, guys.
Oh, it's good to have you.
I think I'll be back for another 2 weeks.
You think so?
I think I'll be back for 2 weeks, and then I have another vacation. Another vacation.
Italy, Spain.
St. Lucia.
Oh, St. Lucia. Oh, sorry. St. Lucia. Once again, Emily, you outkicked your coverage.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening or watching. For Joe and Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you right back here next week.